Happy New Year, Big East women's basketball fans. Megan Caffrey with you here for a special edition of Fast Break. We are live from historic Walsh Gymnasium in South Orange ahead of the Pirates matchup against the Villanova Wildcats at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Big East Digital Network. Pirates head coach Tony Bozzella will join me live on set in just a few moments. Also coming up on today's show, an interview with the Big East Player of the Week, Creighton's Jalen Agnew, and John Fanta joins us from Friartown ahead of the 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time FSU matchup between number 16 Depaul and the Providence Friars. However, first, we are 2 games into league action, so we took a look around the league and came up with our 3 big takeaways of what you need to know. Number 1, you need to keep your eyes out for the Creighton Blue Jays. They were receiving votes for 4 weeks in the non-conference and now come into conference play with 2 road wins. A large part of that has to do with Creighton's Jalen Agnew. She is second in the conference in scoring, averaging 19.3 points per game, and she can also shoot the ball from long distance. She leads the Big East with 3-pointers made with 42. She is an extremely versatile player and one of the toughest matchups in the Big East. Also, what stands out to me about this Creighton's Blue Jay squad is prior to their win against Villanova, their previous 3 wins were all come from behind victories. And head coach Jim Flannery was talking about his team's ability to win ugly. And then in their win against Villanova, well, they led the entire time. So you're really able to see this team coming together at the perfect moment. Watch out for the Jays. Takeaway number 2. St. John's and Seton Hall, who were chosen number 2 and 3 in the preseason coaches poll, respectively, are meeting expectations. Both of these teams also started off their conference play on the road, playing Butler and Xavier. Both of these teams coming away with 2-0 records. Let's take a step back here. 3 teams went on the road to start conference play, and all 3 teams came away successful. That is just a huge deal. Back to St. John's, however, they are second in the league in scoring offense, right behind Depaul, and a large part of this has to do with junior guard Kadasha Hoppe. She averaged 21 points in the 2-game road swing for the Johnnies, and she is just one of the best shooters in the conference. As for Seton Hall, the Pirates have the preseason player of the year in Shadeen Samuels. However, they also have 2 standout freshman guards, especially you look at Maya Jackson. She comes off the bench for these Pirates, and she had a career-high 25 points in the Pirates' win against Xavier. Not only that, folks, she was extremely efficient. She shot 9 of 12 from the floor and 7 for 9 from 3-point range. She said after the game that she was feeling confidence, and her confidence was on full display. Finally, you know what else has been on full display? Depaul ball. The Depaul Blue Demons are second in the nation in scoring offense, averaging 88.5 points per game. This Depaul team is just unstoppable. They went 10-2 in the non-conference, and then they came into conference play with a very big win over Marquette, who, yes, the Golden Eagles did graduate their 5 starters, and they do have a new coach in Megan Duffy, but this Marquette Golden Eagles team is one that you still have to take seriously, and the Depaul Blue Demons rolled right over them, showing that the reigning Big East champions have showed no sign of slowing down and are still the team to beat in the Big East. And now, without further ado, I get to welcome into the set Seton Hall head coach Tony Bozzella in his 7th season leading the Pirates. The Pirates are 9-2 on the season with a 2-0 start to conference play. You're on a 4-game win streak. Coach Bozzella, first off, thank you very much for joining me.
First of all, healthy, which is great. I think our commitment to defense. I mean, we've really focused on, playing solid defense, not fouling, playing with our feet, and I think we've done a really good job understanding the scout. We played 2 really hard teams on the road, and we were able to be successful in both those games because I think our defense really generated our offense.
What about when you look at your team, you do have 2 standout freshman players in Lauren Park Lane and Maya Jackson, both guards. How have your freshmen been able to come in this season and play with confidence right from the get-go?
Well, first of all, they are really confident kids, and I think it starts with their families. I mean, and their families hold them to a certain level of understanding and respect and discipline. And these 2 kids have been really disciplined and understand their respect. We're blessed with 5 great freshmen. These 2 have gotten a little more of a chance and really made the most of it. But we love our freshman class, all 5 of them. McKenna, Victoria, and Kayla have done well. But Lauren has been a great leader. She's really handled the ball well, distributed it really well. And Maya, She's a tough kid. She plays really hard and really confidently and with a lot of toughness to her game. And I think that's really helped her be successful.
Could you talk a little bit more about Maya's performance in your game against Xavier? I mean, 25 points as a freshman. She said after it that she was just feeling confident, and her teammates, and you included, were just continuing to encourage her to shoot the ball all day.
Absolutely. I mean, Maya's one of the best shooters I've ever recruited. And, she had 250 fans there. I mean, that was the respect she gathered from her town and her high school. A lot of times those kids don't play as well in those situations. And she shot an air ball on the first shot. And I'm not going to lie to you. I turned, I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. But, knowing Maya, I should never even have said that. She's tough. She hit the next shot and the next shot. And her defense was outstanding as well. And it just showed, she's been, raised in an environment that, expectations are high. And she understands the level that you have to play at to be successful in such a great conference like the Big East.
Turning to your matchup today, Coach B, you're taking on the Villanova Wildcats. They've always proven to be a tough matchup for your team. When you look at today's game, what are some of the key things that are sticking out to you?
Well, first of all, I have so much respect for Coach Peretta. We're congratulating him on his next phase of life because he'll never retire. I don't think anyone's had a lot of success against Villanova. They have two great players, Maddie Segrest and Mary Gadaka, tremendous players. But the rest of their players have played really well. Raven James done a good job running the point. Brooke Mullen shot the ball well. Cameron Ocken is really a kid who, as a senior, has really led them in emotion and toughness. It's going to be a hard game for us. What we have to do is, we have to get out in transition, Megan. That's our game. Got to get the ball up and down the floor. It's going to be our pace versus their pace. And we can only do that if we play good defense. If they start making shots and we take the ball out of the basket, it's going to be a problem. So we've got to defend them properly, hand up, really, focus on doing our principles correctly, and then getting into our offense after that.
Coach, you mentioned it a little bit before, but going up against Coach Beretta, he's going on his final trip around the Big East this season. You've gotten to coach against him for the past years. What has it been like going up against another coach who is such a legend? What have you learned from him? What are some of the experiences that you've shared?
Well, I shared a little bit of it with him in the car to him. He's been a great mentor, and not even purposely, just how he conducts himself, the type of student athlete he recruits, how he represents our conference. Even when I wasn't in the conference, how cordial and listening and learning I got from him because he'd sit down and talk to you. He's a great coach, but he's a great man and a great father, great representation for Villanova University. But what I've learned is you got to be prepared. Harry's teams are always prepared. They have a system. They run their system, Megan. A lot of times coaches, especially young coaches, like, well, I'm going to try this today and this tomorrow and this tomorrow. Harry don't care. He's going to run it his way, and you're going to run it that way. And I learned, be true to who you are. Be you. And one of my great alumni friends told me this a couple months ago. Be you. And Harry has always been him.
And Coach, finally, is their freshman season not only getting a lot of minutes, but also proving to be great talents as well.
Megan, I think it shows a lot about our league. Coach Bruno always says we have great coaches and we have great players. And I think as we continue to grow in our league and getting UConn in our league, which is going to raise the bar for everyone, we're going to get even better and better freshmen. I mean, this freshman class is probably right now the best freshman class I've seen in my 7 years here. We have some great ones, and obviously, Villanova and Marquette, St. John's. So a lot of great freshmen out there. I think it just says a lot for the league. This league is only going to get better and better and better and better. Everyone's like, oh, UConn's going to make you better. All the teams in our league are making us better.
Coach Bozzella, thank you very much for joining us. We are excited for your 1 p.m. tip-off today on the Big East Digital Network against Villanova.
Thank you, Megan.
Well, we alluded to it a little bit earlier before we interviewed the Big East Player of the Week, Creighton's Jalen Agnew. Earlier this week, she has been having an exceptional season, especially now to the start of conference play. And you can check out our conversation right now. Now, welcome into Big East Fast Break. Creighton senior forward and the Big East Player of the Week, Jalen Agnew. Jalen, your team is off to a 2-0 start in Big East play, and you won both of those games on the road. How crucial is it to get road victories right at the start of conference play?
Yeah, it's very crucial. This season in the Big East is going to be very competitive, and so we knew we had to start out strong, and so getting those 2 road victories were a good stepping stone for hopefully the rest of the season.
In your most recent game, in your win over Villanova, you scored 31 points. That's the second time this season that you've had a game where you scored at least 30 or more points. When you get into such an offensive rhythm, how would you describe that?
I don't know. It's you kind of can't tell at first. Then all your teammates are hyping you up, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I should just keep going. And so yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, my teammates always hype me up, and so it's fun like hearing from them that you're doing well. And so yeah, so it's been fun.
How were your teammates able to hype you up in your game against Georgetown, where you didn't score the bulk of your points until the second half, where you had 20 of your 23 points?
Yeah. They just told me to stay aggressive. Them and the coaches. Especially from the coaching staff, they're like, sometimes we need you to be the one to start our offense, get our offense going, and so just to use that in kind of like an unselfish way, and like to when I start to get going, that hopefully everyone else starts to get going as well.
I remember talking to your head coach, Jim Flannery, back at Big East Media Day, and he was saying one of his hopes for you this season is to just have fun. We're 2 games into the conference season, but you've had a lot of basketball that you've played so far. How much fun are you having?
A lot of fun. This is a super fun group. Actually, we started this new thing this year, and so I don't know if you know about the Chicago Bears and how they have their club dub thing after they win, and we kind of started doing our own version of that. And so after every win, we have like lights, and we turn the lights off, and we have our own like strobe lights type thing, and we play music, and we like dance after every win. So that's kind of been super fun to just enjoy every win, especially like we've had a couple ugly ones, like Flan has said. And so just to wins are hard to come by, and so to get those wins and just enjoy it and keep that going.
Whose idea was it to start that?
Actually Olivia Elgers, because she's from Chicago, and so she knew all about that, and so she's like, I think it'd be a super fun thing to do. So she took it to the coaches, and they thought it was awesome, and so we've been doing that so far, and it's been super fun.
Jalen, you're one of 3 seniors on the team this season. You also lead your team in scoring. How would you describe your leadership and your ability to really, when all of your teammates are relying on you?
Yeah, our coaches talked to me about being more of a vocal leader, and I'm not so great at that. I like to lead more by action, kind of. And so I think that's where I've been better at. It would be the action and kind of, Olivia's great at the vocal lead, and so is Temmie. And so they kind of take that side of it, and I'm more of like the leading by action type thing. And so that's kind of where I kind of started my leadership, I would say.
I love that, Jalen. Thank you very much for joining me, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
And how about this? On my drive over to Walsh Gym today, Jesus Walks was playing on the radio. So that's got to be a good sign for something, right? As we mentioned a little bit earlier, 9 Big East women's basketball games are going on this weekend, and 2 of them are on national television. Tonight, you can catch the 16th ranked Depaul Blue Demons facing the Providence Friars at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS2. And then on Sunday, you can tune into CBS-SN on 2 p.m. Eastern Time as Villanova takes on St. John's. Now, ahead of this game, John Fanta is up in Friartown, and we checked in with him. What's going on up there, John Fanta?
Hey, Megan, and Happy New Year, Big East women's basketball followers. FS2 Friday Night Women's Hoops takes us to Friartown. We're at Alumni Hall, where the 16th ranked Depaul Blue Demons pay a visit to the Providence Friars. The Blue Demons, the reigning Big East champions, have started right where they've left off. And when you think about the run that they've put together over the last 6 years in this conference, it really is remarkable. Get this. If you combine regular season and Big East tournament games against conference opponents, DePaul is 107 and 19 since 2013. 107 wins to just 19 losses. It will be a daunting task for the Friars on Friday night. They've played 2 single-digit games to start out conference play, a 1-possession affair at Villanova, and then a tough loss to Georgetown. The good news for Providence, they're back home. 12 of their first 14 games came on the road, so they finally can try to get into a rhythm behind Kayla Webb, who's the sophomore guard, averages well over 2 threes per game, part of a Friars perimeter attack that has shot the ball really well from beyond the arc, 39%, one of the top shooting marks from beyond the arc in the country. But on the other side, you're talking about a DePaul team They believe in high volume three-pointers, and it's worked well. They're in the top 5 in scoring offense, three-pointers made per game, also turnovers forced, turnover margin. So you're talking about a team that just is a machine offensively, averaging 88.5 points per game. Providence on the other side, they're only allowing just over 56 points per game, so they've got to make Depaul work for what the Blue Demons get, and you have to limit turnovers because Depaul has forced over 150 turnovers combined in the last 6 games. And if the Friars aren't careful, that's where the Blue Demons can flourish. It's Doug Bruno in year 34, an absolute legend, bringing his Blue Demons into Friartown for what will be an intriguing showdown with the Providence Friars. 6:30 Eastern time on Friday night. I'll have it with my partner Kim Adams as we ring
Today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Big East Digital Network. You better get to it then. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the Big East Digital Network at 1 p.m. today.